Well, hello everybody, how are you doing? I hope you're really well. So today's video is slightly different than usual. I've spent many years on this channel talking about how you don't need to spend a lot of money to make life beautiful. You can buy some flowers from the supermarket and make them look great. You can set the table with your best things that are not that expensive but just elevate the whole look. You can create a beautiful dinner and enjoy it with friends and family. It's all about the small things that enrich our lives and make it more beautiful. But sometimes I do like to spend money on luxuries, not because I want to impress anyone, but because I think that they are genuinely worth it. So today I thought we would have a little bit of fun, and I wanted to walk you through some of those more expensive luxury things that I bought that I genuinely feel have made my life more beautiful and have elevated my life. And what you'll notice about everything that I share with you today is that these things are not things that are hidden away in cupboards or closets and only used for best. They're things that I use mostly on a daily basis. So even though they have been expensive, when you look at it over time, you're getting a lot of value and it really is enriching your life. So let's have some fun and let's walk through some of the luxury purchases that I genuinely think have been worth it. So the very first thing that I wanted to share with you is my Cartier Tank watch. Now this is probably the most beautiful thing that I own. I wear this every single day. It brings me so much pleasure, so much joy every time I wear it. It goes with everything I own. Even in the morning, sometimes if I forgot to take it off and I wear it to the gym, I look down and I think, wow, it even looks elegant with my gym clothes. It is one of those things that is completely timeless, completely trend-free, and something that I think I'll be wearing when I'm an old man in my 90s and I'll still love it and it will still be elegant and beautiful. So for me, this was an expensive purchase, but it is something that is absolutely worth every single penny and something that I do not regret buying. So I was never really into watches, to be honest. I know a lot of people love them and a lot of people like collecting them, but for me it was just something that I never really had an interest in. And then, about 2 years ago, I was in Switzerland with Nathan and we went into the Cartier store because he wanted to buy a bracelet. And I saw the Cartier Tanks on display and I just thought, wow, that is a watch that I quite like. It was understated, not flashy. You couldn't really see what the brand of the watch was unless you really looked at it. And I just thought that is definitely something that speaks to me. And then I started to realise that I'd seen this watch in other places. So you may know that I'm quite a big fan of Jackie Kennedy, and she actually had a Cartier Tank that's pretty similar to the one that I've got. She had it in the 1960s, it was a gift from her brother-in-law, and it was engraved on the back. I have made a Substack article about this quite a long time ago, so I'll link that for you if you want to read it. It's quite interesting, the history of the watch, and how the Cartier Tank has been this timeless symbol of elegance. So yeah, after that moment in Switzerland, I started to look at the Cartier Tank as something that I might want to invest in. So when it comes to purchasing luxuries like this, I do like to take my time, think things through, not rush. And then a friend of mine told me about a website called Chrono24. So this is an app, or you can get the desktop version on your laptop, and it's dedicated to watch buying. And the great thing about this one is that all of the watches are authenticated by Chrono24. So if you're selling a watch on there, and it is usually by accredited sellers, people who sell watches as part of their business, you have to send the watch for approval to Chrono24. They will look at the paperwork, the watch, and they will make sure that it is a genuine thing. So it's a really great place to go if you are looking for a watch. They've got thousands of watches there, and you can type in the search bar exactly what you're looking for. So I searched for Cartier Tank in brown leather, dark brown leather, and I found quite a few of them. I saved them and I looked through, and then this one particularly spoke to me because it had a very charming old look. It looked like Perhaps it was owned by your elderly grandfather who'd worn it for most of his life and now he was ready to pass it on to a younger generation to enjoy. This one, it's slightly worn, the dial is a little bit faded, some of the gold is missing on the hardware, the leather strap is worn by time and it just looks old, it doesn't look brand new, and I thought, ooh, that is a bit of me, that is something that I could definitely go with. So I put an offer in for the watch and it got rejected, and then I saw that it had sold and I was crushed. And I think when that happens, you realise just how much you wanted something. And I just remember thinking, oh gosh, I've missed out on that watch. It was my dream watch. And I was looking at all the other ones that I'd saved and they just weren't speaking to me like this one was. So I messaged the seller and I said, I know the watch is sold, but if anything happens, if it falls through or you get something really similar, please let me know and I would love to buy the watch. About 3 weeks later, I got an email from the seller and he said, the good news, the watch fell through, the sale didn't go through, so it is available now. And I just thought, okay, no more messing around, you missed out once, do not miss out again. So I bought the watch. I've had it for about a year. In fact, it was this time last year that I got the watch. The moment that it arrived, I was besotted with it. It's just the most understated little watch. I mean, it's so small. It's a lot smaller in real life than I anticipated, but I really like that. And you know what? I never really get people saying to me, "Ooh, that's a nice watch. Where did you get that? What make is that?" It's something that people don't really comment on, and that is what I like most about it. If every day people were coming up to me and saying, "Wow, that's a really fancy, beautiful watch," that would really put me off. I like things that are simple, understated, things that whisper rather than shout, and that is what this watch does. So really, it's not for anybody else, it's for me. I get to look at it every day, I get to see the time, and it just brings me an enormous amount of joy. I really love this watch, and it's something that I think I will love for the rest of my life. And I think also with things like timepieces, jewellery, heirloom pieces, that's exactly what they become. So I'm hoping that one day I will pass this on to, if I have any children, which is very unlikely, I'll pass it on to one of them. I have 2 nieces, maybe they would like to have it one day. But hopefully it's one of those things that will become part of the story of my life and then part of somebody else's story of their life too. And that is the beauty of these little things. They're not just jewellery or decorative things to make you feel fancy. They're actually part of your life and they become part of who you are. And I think that is what I love most about this watch. And when it comes to skincare, it's always been something that I've never really had a problem with spending money on. For me, I just think we have to make the best of ourselves if that's important to you, like you do with your hair and your clothes. I think skin is one of those things that if you really take care of it in the long term, it's going to serve you well. And although I'm not anti-aging, I do think that we all want to look our very best. So for me, I've always thought about my skin from about the age of 15, how I can take care of it, keep it looking its best, and just make myself feel the best way that I can. So for about 3 years now, I've been using a few different tools to help me with my skincare. It's something that I've shared a lot on this channel, but it truly is one of the best things that I've ever done for my skin. So when it comes to buying luxury, that is something that I really don't mind doing. This is the FAQ 202 LED face mask from FOREO, Sweden. And I've talked about this many times, and I genuinely think it is one of the best things that I've ever done for my skin. I mean, if you look at the before and after pictures that I'm putting on screen now, that's what's happened after 3 years of use. It really does work. And more than that, recently there's been a clinical trial conducted on these masks, and it has been proven to reduce wrinkles by 32% in just 2 weeks, reduce acne by 48% in just 2 weeks also. And you can see from these before and after photographs that this LED mask really does do what it says. So for me, I knew that anyway. It's something that you have to take a risk on at the beginning because you're not going to see immediate results. Well, you will after 2 weeks, But for me, I can tell my skin is clearer, it's smoother. I have a lot of redness around my eyes that has completely reduced, and those fine lines and wrinkles that you start to get in your mid-30s, they are significantly reduced after using this for 3 years. I mean, I can't believe I've been using it for 3 years. I also have the Luna 4, so this is a facial cleansing device. This is really great for getting a good cleanse. You get really deep into the skin, and I do believe that cleaning your skin well is one of those things that keep it looking its best. And I also have the UFO 3, so this is a great little device. What you do, FOREO have these masks, they have lots of different ones. You pop it onto this plate, it pairs with your smartphone, or you can use it without, and you just get an at-home facial. It's a really great little tool, great to pack into your luggage or perhaps in your bag when you're on the way to work and you want to give yourself that bit of treatment, but yeah, an at-home facial. I'm going to use my FAQ 202. I use this 2-3 times a week. The great thing is that you can put it on, go about your morning, and you're getting this treatment without really thinking about it, so it just becomes part of your routine. Now this has 8 different wavelengths, including NIR, and it just targets inflammation, redness. It makes your skin smoother, more firm, more plump. It increases radiance. For me, it's just been the most incredible thing, and so that is why I'm able to keep my routine of using it all the time, because I've noticed the difference. So I'm going to do a little treatment. I like to pair this with the app on my smartphone, but you can use it without the app. And you go through the app and you can select which treatment. So we've got a quick refresh, which is 5 minutes, oil balancing, which is 12 minutes, repairing 15 minutes, brightening 10 minutes, tightening 8 minutes. There's so many, revitalizing, calming, so many. But I'm going to do the 10-minute brightening treatment. This uses red, orange and blue LED light, and it's a 10-minute skin detox to diminish dullness on tired skin and illuminate your complexion. So what I like to do is use the red light peptide serum. Now this has photoreactive ingredients, so it just really optimizes the performance of the mask. So I just put a little bit on and pop this onto my skin, and this will really just give an enhanced result for your treatment. Super easy, it feels great. Always looks a bit strange at the beginning. I'm going to push start on my app. And what it does now, it just goes through each treatment. So it tells you now phase 1 is red LED light. That diminishes signs of aging on the skin, and then that lasts for 4 minutes. Then we've got a 3-minute orange treatment and a 3-minute blue treatment. So I'll tell you about all of those when we get to it. Okay, now we've moved on to the orange LED. So this revitalizes for a healthy glow. So phase 1, we are reducing the signs of aging, and now we're getting a healthy glow. What could be better than that? Okay, and finally we are on the blue LED, cyan LED, I think that's how you say it. This calms and relieves stressed skin. So if your skin is particularly under stress, we're having a lot of hot weather at the moment, not used to that, this is great for that. So great for getting the stress away from your skin and helping it to be more calm. So those 3 different LED lights, that is how they're working together to give you the best skin of your life. So that is my treatment complete. I'm feeling fresh, ready for the day. I always love doing that. It's just so easy. You can just, put it on, make the bed, prepare breakfast, do something in the garden. It's just, you can even wear it like on the way to work if you're traveling in a car or something. It's just great. So I'm delighted to let you know that if you would like to check out the FOREO products for yourselves, I have a special FOREO birthday discount of 35%. This is one of their very best sales of the year, so you're getting the 35% off with my discount code, and they also have discount applied to some of their products already, which you will also get to take advantage of. So you'll be able to stack the discounts together and you can get up to 50% off most of the FOREO products, which is pretty amazing. A really great way to get an affordable skincare boost. So if you would like to take advantage of this discount, all you need to do is click the link in the description box, or you can scan the QR code that is on the screen now, and you simply enter the code NIC35 and you will get 35% discount. As I said, this is a really great opportunity to grab a bargain for a really great product that actually works. It's been FDA approved. The clinical results are there for everybody to see, so invest in yourself, start now, and you will find that this really does improve the quality of your skin. So the next thing that I want to share with you is my newest purchase, which is this, my coffee machine. Now this is called the Sage Barista Express, and I got this about 3 months ago at the beginning of the year. So coffee isn't something that I have historically enjoyed that much. As you probably know from watching this channel, tea is my thing. It was the genesis of this YouTube channel, afternoon tea, and enjoying the ritual of tea time. And it is a drink that I really enjoy. I have a few cups a day and I find it refreshing and lovely. But in the last 2 years, I would say, I've really come to appreciate and enjoy a really great coffee. I think living in Edinburgh, which has a great coffee culture, it's one of those things that you do a lot. You meet a friend for a coffee. When I go to the gym in the morning, afterwards I stop and have a coffee there. It's just one of those things that can become quite a regular thing in your life. And so for that reason, I started to develop taste in coffee and really enjoy it. I remember when I first met Nathan, who was a huge coffee drinker, we'd go for a coffee and he would be like, this isn't the best coffee. And I couldn't really tell the difference. It just tasted like coffee to me. But as time has gone on and I've refined my taste in coffee, I can definitely taste when a coffee is good or when it's bad. So I remember about a year ago I was waking up every morning and I was craving coffee in bed. Now I get up quite early, sometimes 5, sometimes 6 a.m. and so coffee shops aren't going to be open at that time. So I thought maybe I'll just get myself a little press and make a filter coffee. So I did that. And what I like to do is in the morning wake up, make a coffee, sit in bed for 15-20 minutes and just enjoy that moment without looking at my phone, doing anything else, just enjoying my coffee. But because, as I said, my taste had become more refined, it didn't really taste great. So I thought, maybe it's time that I get myself a decent coffee machine. Now, as with everything else, I like to think things through. I don't like to impulse buy, and I want to make sure that if I'm buying something, I'm going to use it every day and I'm going to know how to use it. And I think one of the things with coffee machines is that they can look really intimidating. And you can see this machine, it looks quite complex. There's loads of buttons, dials, things to work out. But I promise you, this machine has changed my life. It is completely easy to use, it looks great in the kitchen, and it makes incredible coffee. So I got this, as I said, at the beginning of the year. I was a bit nervous when I got it home because this was expensive. It was about £700, and I thought, am I going to be able to use it? But it is so easy to use, and yeah, it makes great coffee. So we might as well we'll make an espresso. I think I showed you this espresso cup recently. We'll make a little espresso in here and I'll show you just how easy it is to use. So we have here the storage where you put the coffee beans. So it actually needs topping up, so we can do that now. So these are my coffee beans, and it's important with your coffee beans that you store them in an airtight container. I buy my coffee from a really cute place in Edinburgh called Valvona and Crolla, and it's an independent, family-owned Italian deli. Basically they sell everything: beautiful chocolates, coffee, meats, hams, cheeses, wines, chutneys, everything. When you go in there, it is like an Aladdin's cave of beautiful food. So this is their speciality coffee. Oh, it smells amazing. So you just pour that into here. Now it's best not to fill it up too completely, because then coffee is always best when it's completely fresh, so that's why it's stored in this airtight container. And pop the lid on, and then we turn on the machine here, and it flashes until it's ready. It takes a few seconds, about 30 seconds, and then it's ready. So you can see it's flashing. When that stops flashing, that means it's ready to use. Okay, it is ready. So now what we do, we've got, I mean, I don't know what any of these things are called, to be honest, so I'm not an expert when it comes to this machine. I just know that I know how to use it. So we've got this little filter thing here that stops the, when you grind the coffee, it stops it from going everywhere, so that's a really great thing. And then on here you've got the different dials. So this says grind amount. Now when you first buy the machine, you'll have to figure out the perfect grind amount to get a great cup of coffee. And then here we've got filter size, so single or double. I'm having a double. Program here, this is not really, you don't really use this at the moment. This is if you want to clean or descale the machine, you press that. And then this here, it's either a single or a double cup. So I always use the double cup. And then here we've got the pressure. So this is really how to, this is where you know whether you're making a great coffee. It's usually sitting in between, if the dial sits in between here, that's when you know you've got a great coffee. So it sounds very technical, and it probably is, but I don't see it as so. I've managed to figure out exactly how this works, and I'm not going to mess with it. So what you do, you pop that into there and you just push it, and then it will start grinding the coffee beans. Okay, you can see that we've got nice powdered coffee. I like to give it a little bit of a tap. And then here, you've got the press to compact this in. And this is magnetic, so you can just pop that back up there. We take off the guard, and then we can pop that into, I don't even know what that's called. Make sure it's nice and tight. And now we're ready to pour our espresso. So I'll just pop this here. So you just push this button here and that will start to pull the coffee. So you should be able to see here, we've got a nice, silky, creamy espresso. That's pretty perfect, quite beautiful. So yeah, we have our espresso. Let's taste it. Perfect, honestly, so great coffee. And then, of course, we have the steam wand here. So this is so easy to use. You just turn it. You can either turn it to the right, which will give you hot water coming out of the tap, or you turn it to the left and you get the steam. So yeah, with the milk, when you steam that, I don't really like it very frothy, so the trick is just to keep it quite still, not move it around, otherwise you get a lot of foam. I like a quite silky coffee, I don't like loads and loads of foam, and I'm really terrible at doing latte art, so I haven't really bothered to learn that, but I'm sure one day I'll pick it up. So yeah, great little cup of coffee. I have a coffee every day. In the morning, as I said, I get into bed, have a little espresso, enjoy that moment. It's a beautiful ritual. Then when I go to the gym, I have a coffee there, and then when I come back home, I sit at my desk, I do my work, and I have another coffee. So this machine, it's an expensive one, but I've got two friends who've got this machine. My friend Graham, he's got one, and then the guy who does my hair, Bruce Macefield, he also has one, and they've had them for about 15 years, and they're still going strong and still working really, really well. So I know this is going to be a great investment. Already, I've had it for 3 months. I've used it every single day, so even it's already paid for itself to have a great coffee at home. So yeah, beautiful coffee machine, definitely worth buying and definitely worth the extra. In recent months, I've talked about how I've got into beautiful bags, and it's just one of those things that is a new thing in my life. I always looked at bags before and appreciated them, but it was never something that I thought I could personally have. I felt like it was too feminine, that people would look at me in a strange way. And then suddenly I just thought, why am I even concerned about the opinions of other people? If I like something and I want to use and wear it, then that's exactly what I should do. And also, why do people attach a gender label to an item like a bag? It's just a piece of leather crafted into a shape to hold things. If a man can carry a briefcase or a backpack, why can't he carry a bag? So when I got over myself and realised that if I wanted to have a bag I should get one, that's when I decided to think about the bag that I wanted to get. So this is my YSL black leather bag. I got this in November 2024. And as with everything else that I've talked about, this was something that I thought about carefully before I bought it. I don't like to waste money, and this is an expensive bag, so it's not something that I was going to rush into. But I remember I was in Vienna with Nathan on a work trip, and we decided, because we spent the whole day working, we'd go for a little walk, and we walked past the Fendi store, and we walked in, and there was a bag in there called the Peekaboo bag, which I just thought, wow, that is gorgeous. The price was very, very expensive. So I looked at it and it was definitely out of my budget, but I remember thinking that's the type of bag that I would like to have. It was a simple black leather bag, kind of like this shape. There were no logos on it. For anybody walking by or looking at it, you wouldn't be able to tell that it was a Fendi bag. Understated, timeless. So one of those things that, again, is going to stand the test of time and is not going to become unfashionable or one of those things that's just a trend. So that bag was in my mind. I kind of thought that's the kind of bag that I would like to get, something like that. And then I looked around, couldn't really see anything that I liked and kind of forgot about it. And then Nathan and I went to Mexico on a work trip, and when we came back we flew via Heathrow. We had 2 nights in London and we decided to do a little bit of shopping together. He bought the small version of the Fendi Peekaboo bag, and then I walked past Yves Saint Laurent and decided to go inside, and then this bag was in the men's department on the counter, the only one there, and I thought, there it is, that's the bag that I want to get. So I bought it. And I will say that even though it was an expensive bag, what happened was about 4 months before that, we won a really great contract, Nathan and me, for this 5-month job in France. And with the money that I got from that, not with all of it, but with some of it, I set some aside, put it into my Nicolas gift pot, and I put that aside for my bag. And so this one was way less expensive than the Fendi Peekaboo, in fact half the price. And I just thought, that is the perfect bag. It is simple, elegant, again, no real logos. People walking by wouldn't even be able to tell what it was, but the quality was amazing. It was the perfect shape. And with the work that I do, traveling a lot, I go to a lot of meetings, I wanted a bag that could fit a laptop, my charger, passport, keys, kind of like a business bag. So that's what I use this for. I don't really carry it around every day, walking around town, going shopping or anything. It's mostly a work bag, and I'm really glad that I have one, instead of like a backpack or a briefcase. This is more me. So this does, it fits a laptop, it fits chargers, it fits phones, documents. It is the perfect business bag. So yeah, I feel like a proper businessman when I carry this bag. I remember when I was a little boy, I had this elderly relative and we called her Auntie Ruth. She wasn't really my auntie, she was my uncle's mother. And she seemed so old, she was probably in her 80s at the time. Every time we used to visit her, she used to say to me, she used to sit me on her lap and say, "Tell me again, Nicholas, what you want to be when you grow up." And I used to say, "I want to be a businessman." And she used to love that story. And she said, "Oh, are you going to carry a briefcase and wear a suit?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." So, Auntie Ruth, I hope you can see me and proud of me. I've got my briefcase, in a way, my business bag. And yeah, this is cute. You can see it's really lovely quality, simple design, very timeless. It also has the strap so you can wear it like that, which is great when you've got luggage, suitcases, lots of other things, or you can just hold it like that as well. So I really do love this bag, and in the last year I would say I've used this a lot, and every time I travel, take this with me. It sits really nicely on top of my suitcase, so you can just wheel it through the airport, and then when you get to where you're going, and it's quite lightweight, so some bags can be very, very heavy, but this one definitely worth the investment. I've used this to death. It's been under airplane seats, in the overhead compartment, on trains, in hotel rooms, and it looks perfect. I mean, it doesn't look like it's been used loads, so that means that the quality is great. And actually, I think it's one of those things that does become more beautiful with time as it ages. I know some people can be very precious about using their expensive luxury items, but I'm sure that with wear, tear, patina, this will become even more beautiful. And I think as well, what's the point in having lovely things if you're scared to use them? Use them well, they will serve you, that's what they're for. So yeah, that is something that I truly believe, and I really do love this bag. It was expensive, but again, cost per use, I've already got my money's worth. It's a beautiful bag. Now, it's no secret that fragrance is something that is a huge part of my life, and I guess who I am, my identity. I just feel that fragrance does something that not many other things can do. It creates this aura of who you are. It tells people who walk by you in the street the kind of person that you are. Have you ever walked by somebody and they go by, and then a few seconds later you get a whiff of their fragrance and you think, wow, that lady is elegant, or how cool is that man? It's such a nice thing, and you don't know anything about this person apart from that little detail, that little hint of who they are. Also, fragrance for me is memory. Some of the most beautiful memories of my life, I can smell a candle, or I can smell a flower. I mean, sometimes I walk by some clematis or some honeysuckle and it takes me back to a particular moment. I remember in 2016 when I went to Capri, and when you arrive there, the smell of honeysuckle is just wafting through the air, and now every time I smell that, I'm instantly taken back to that time, and that was over 10 years ago. So it's incredible what scent can do. Equally, I can smell a fragrance that I own and it will take me back to a particular hotel or moment. There's so many times that I've travelled with friends and family, and I can just get back to that place and that time, and I think for that reason, fragrance is such a special thing. So it's one of those things that I don't ever regret spending money on. And fragrances can be very expensive. You know, some people think, why do we spend so much money on something that just disappears into the air? But it's those things, it's the memories, it's the moments, it's the identity, it's the pleasure that you get from it. It is such a luxury in this day and age, but for me it is something that I always have to have. So I've got 3 fragrances here. First one is Floris. So Floris is the oldest perfumer in the UK. It is a very old school, timeless fragrance house. It's beloved by the royal family, Hollywood. It's just one of those fragrance houses that has so many different fragrances, and they're all absolutely beautiful. So this one is called Celeste. This is one of their newest fragrances actually. And it's very difficult to explain this one. It is so ethereal. It's kind of magical, sparkly. You get a little note of honey, amber, musk, vanilla. It's a very comforting, warm fragrance. I've been using this for the last few weeks. It's one of those fragrances that I think I would reserve for evening rather than day because it feels special. Kind of like a starry night sky, I would say. It's hard to explain. That's what it makes me feel. Golden stars. So that's very beautiful. Then I have this one. This is a brand called Ormond Jane. This again is a British brand. I've met Linda, who owns Ormond Jane, a few times. She's a really incredible lady. She's got an amazing nose, and all of her fragrances are completely timeless and unique. So this one is called Montebaco Intensivo. This is a very masculine fragrance, very powdery, old school. Yeah, you get powder, oud, vetiver. It's kind of green, a green fragrance as well, without being overly fresh and clean. I don't really like those fresh, clean fragrances. They kind of remind me of bathroom cleaners. But this one, yeah, it's kind of like old school, gentleman's social club, cigars, whiskey, but clean and elegant. It's a really beautiful one. And it's what I like about Ormond Jane is that it's kind of an under-the-radar brand, so not everybody's wearing it. I'm sure that it will become very well known soon. And then this one is my newest fragrance. This is a brand called Byredo, and this fragrance is called Bal d'Afrique. So that basically translates to African ball, and the founder of Byredo explained that he was inspired by African balls that he went to when he was younger, and just the air of glamour and sophistication. Oh my god, this is, everybody comments on this one. It is the most beautiful fragrance. So this fragrance opens with bergamot, and it also has kind of like the juicy freshness of blackcurrant. It's difficult to describe, but it's also got this very creamy undertone, so it makes it rich and luxurious without being too fresh again. I would say this is the essence of summer. I've been wearing this over the summertime, and when you put it onto your skin and then you go out into a very hot day, the intensity of the sun as it sits on your skin creates this really beautiful fragrance that just is so lovely. Everybody's been complimenting me wearing this. It's a very beautiful one. So yeah, without going into the details of fragrance too much and notes and things like that, for me it's more about a feeling and the experience that a fragrance gives. I'm not a huge expert about fragrance. I don't really know about notes or how they layer with each other, but I just know when I like the scent of something. And when I find one that I really love, it becomes a part of my story again, like the Cartier Tank. It's one of those things that is deeply personal. We all like our own thing, but for me, I've never regretted spending money on a beautiful fragrance. I think it's definitely worth it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I mentioned at the beginning, it is something a little bit different, but I was thinking about luxury and beauty, as I do a lot in my life, and I was just thinking about what it is about some of these more expensive items, and are they really worth it? Because sometimes, you know, I'm not somebody who's very frivolous with money and spending. I like to make sure that I'm living a good, happy life without needing too much. But sometimes these luxuries really do enhance and improve our lives, and I was thinking about why that could be. And I think it is because, personally, from my experience, I only buy things that I've considered, that I absolutely love and can't stop thinking about, and that I know I will use every single day. So yeah, everything that I've shared today is a huge part of my life. The Cartier Tank sits on my wrist every day. I use my YSL bag all the time. I make a coffee every single morning. These are the things that I love and use that enrich my life. And as I said at the very beginning of the video, not things that are preciously stored away in a cupboard for best, where they're seen as more like a museum piece that you're not allowed to touch. I think life is supposed to be enjoyed. These beautiful things, they are expensive, they are luxuries. So if you can see them as something that is part of you, that you love and cherish and enjoy, then they're really worth it. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this little look into some luxuries of mine. I would love to hear in the comments maybe something that you bought that has brought you lots of joy, if it was expensive or not, but it's a luxury to you that you use all the time that is worth it. Please let me know in the comments. I absolutely love reading your comments, so it's fun for me to see your perspective and point of view as well. Alright everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time, but until then, do take care. Bye bye.